Doesn't seem possible. We were just talking, we had 76 new users last week with 49 of them with email addresses. I think some of those came from Facebook. Seems like an awful lot of people, but the database keeps. With Scott, Kevin, KE7K, and of course Miss Vicky, K8VKY on the log. As usual, we'll be bringing you this week's East Coast Reflector Tech Net. I'd like to dedicate this net to one of our team members that passed away on Friday, Jeff, KC9TEW. Jeff has been a little bit later, but I would like to dedicate this net to our friend Jeff. As always, we'll see if any of our facilitators and team members have anything to report. And then I will remember Jeff as a silent key. He's the only one that flagged up this week. And Joe is here, PD2TFB. He's going to enlighten us with the celeb of the week. We'll go to new stations that have never checked into this net before and get them up at the top of this list. And get them checked in first tonight. Then we will go to with amateur radio related questions. Unfortunately, our antenna man, Charles, is not going to be with us tonight, and unless he gets home late, it doesn't look like he's going to. I got an email from him, so he's not going to be with us tonight for the antenna. And after that, everybody's going to help me remember. Send it up to Kevin, VE3BZ. I think I've about 3 weeks in a row. I've blown him off on the swap shop, so I cannot forget to do that tonight. Kevin, if you're listening, I'll do my best. At this time, does any of the team members have anything that they would like to report here tonight? This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
This is K4.
Good evening, Jason. K4KU, what do you have for us tonight?
Yeah, good evening, Dick, and everybody on the Tech Net. I'd just like to remind all of you, if you are interested in ever being a net controller or you would like to check into another net, we have the Open Mic Net on Wednesday nights. You can find all the information you need to sign up on the Reflector website, and we'd love to have a few new voices on the air. Thanks a lot, and have a great Tech Net. This is Jason, back to Net Control.
Jason, yep, let's take it off. We're having a lot of fun on Wednesday nights with open mic, so like Jason said, come join us. Any other team members have anything that they would like to report this evening? Nothing. I do want to remind everybody that the ECR magazine is out. Everybody should have received it. If you did not think you should have, let us know. But you can also subscribe yourself with a bit.ly address that we've created, bit.ly/ECR subscribe. ECR subscribe. You can subscribe yourself. I understand there's several hundred people that have got that bit.ly address that have already subscribed themselves, so great. We also, we're going to try something new on Thursday night called the ECR Town Hall. Hopefully we can get some people come in and ask us questions, not technical questions. That's what Ask the Elmer B and Elmer's for on the first Thursday, but it'll be a town hall. Just come in and ask questions, suggestions that you might have. So come join us 8 o'clock in the ECR Zoom room on this Thursday. If you missed the aeronautical presentation last Thursday. It's up. You can watch it. Quite a number of people have already gone and watched it. And while we're on YouTube, you can also have them watch the magazine or listen to the magazine and watch it on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, and the magazine will be there, and it reads it to you and turns the pages for you, so you can't make it much easier than that. Let's go to Joe. I'm sorry, we got to do Silent Key here first before I go to Joe. Like I said, I wanted to dedicate to our friend Jeff, KC9TEW from Crown Point, Indiana. Jeff has had a hard battle with cancer, and Jeff has been a regular in the Zoom room for quite a number of years. Jeff never missed a morning brew or a Tech Net if he was available. He was also a co-host for our think tank. So I'd just like to take a minute, make a last call for Jeff, and have a moment of silence. KC9TEW, Silent Key, last call. KC9TEW, Silent Key, last call. KC9TEW, Silent Key, last call. Rest in peace, my friend. Thank you, everybody. We've had many people write us and tell us and the family their condolences. Jeff, I should have probably said this a little earlier, Jeff wrote many articles for our news magazine about safety, and Jeff wrote his last one a couple of weeks ago thinking it was going to be better. And I think he kind of changed a couple words in what he wrote it to publish, and unfortunately his obituary, so Jeff will certainly be missed. On a brighter subject, Joe, let's go to you. 82 TFB and see what for us tonight.
Well, good evening all on net. KD2TFB here. Tonight's question is, how many radio clubs do you belong to? I only belong to Ronnie and the Lancaster Club here in New York, so I guess I'd have to answer too. And thanks go to the ARL web for the tip, and like many of these, the English language Wikipedia, and is therefore subject to the Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike 4.0 license. Hugh was born on February 14th, 1921, in Akron, Ohio, to Edith and Howard. He was educated at Lima Shawnee High School in Lima, Ohio, Bluffton College, a Mennonite school in Bluffton, and Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. Our celebrity worked as a radio announcer and program director in 1939 at WLOK in Lima, Ohio, after his first year of college. In 1940, he moved on to WWJ in Detroit. Hugh served in the United States Army during World War II in 1943, and then joined the NBC radio network at WMAQ as an announcer in Chicago, where he lived until 1954. He then attended Columbia University in New York City in 1955 and 1956. I just want to let the repeater drop so we don't time it out. Hugh made his first television news broadcast in September 1945 from the still experimental studio of WBKB-TV, which is now WBBM-TV, in Chicago. He once said that when he went for his first job, he had never seen a television before and was unsure whether television would last. Well, as we know now, Last it did, because in 1984, it was certified by the then Guinness Book of World Records for the greatest number of hours on network commercial television at 15,188 hours. That would later be bested by Regis Philbin in 2004. Our celebrity is a published composer, having hosted the PBS showcase classical music called Center from 1990 to 1996. But perhaps the two television best known for is being the host of Concentration and the ABC News show 2020. This week's Celebrity Call Sign of the Week is Kilo Delta 6 Whiskey Uniform Sierra, or KD6 WUS, having belonged to Q Downs. Of course, as with many people born that long ago, Mr. Downs is a silent key, having passed away on July 1st, 2020 of heart failure at his home in Scottsdale, Arizona, at the age of 99. Kilo Delta 2 Tango Fox Bravo, back to net control.
Thank you, Joe. I think most of us remember Hugh Downs. I did not know he was a ham. Like I had said earlier in Zoom, I did not know that. You always come up with some good ones. Lima, Ohio, I always said, you old guys will remember if you've ever bought anything from Fair Radio Sales in Lima, Ohio. I started buying from them when I was probably 13 years old or younger. Army surplus stuff, and they just closed last year. Been going for many years. They just closed, but that was a source for many Army surplus stuff, and I'm sure some of you older guys would remember that. Thank you, Joe. Let's see if we have any new users to this net. If you have never checked into this net before, we'd like to get you up at the top of the net and say hello. So, users that have never checked into this net before, please give us your call sign twice. This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
KE2BYN. I've never checked into the net because I can't reach it from my... Kilo Juliet 5 Hotel Mike, Quebec. Kilo Juliet 5 Hotel Mike, Quebec. KE2BYN. I've never checked into the net because I can't reach it from my house. KE2BYN, be your name.
Alabama, that's right.
Double.
Yeah, I think we might have missed one, and there was a couple doubles. Let me talk to James, Victoria, Texas, for a minute. KJ5HMQ. Buffalo, KE2BYN. I don't know why you can't reach the system from your house, Joe, but we provide several access points here in the Buffalo, Western New York. But good evening, Joe, and once again, which Joe mentioned, our question today is, how many radio clubs do you belong to? How many radio clubs do you belong to? Joe in Buffalo, KE2BYN, good evening. So with us, KE2BYN. Sure what happened to Joe, but we'll move on to James. KJ5HMQ. Good evening.
Good afternoon, everyone on the ECR. This is my first time on the Tech Net, and I am a member of two clubs, a local club and a regional club. Back to net control.
James, I got you down for 2. Who else do I have new to this net? If you've never checked into this net, please give me your call sign twice. Kilo India 5, Whiskey Alpha Lima, KI5 WAL. Hey, Robert and Conroe, unfortunately you come up in red indicating that you have checked in here before, KI5WAL. I'll have to ask you to call in when we get to the 5th call district. Thank you for being there. Stations that have never checked in before. If you're not sure, call in anyway, and we certainly will tell you whether you have or not.
This is KF0SIV, KF0SIV, Mike in Inglewood, Colorado. I don't believe I've called into this net before.
And Mike, you are so right. Englewood, Colorado, KF0SIV. Welcome, and good evening to you, Mike. And our question tonight, as you've probably heard, how many radio clubs you belong to? Good evening.
Good evening, and thanks. I don't belong to any yet. I just discovered the East Coast Reflector last week. It has been an absolute blast listening in and connecting with you guys. I'm a new tech as of last November. Father of 5, grandpa of 1, and having a great time out here learning as a new radio tech. Back to the net.
Well, great. Glad to have you on board with us. Yeah, we don't mention this much anymore, but our big draw on nets is our morning brew, which is every weekday from 7 to 9, except for holidays. I know that's probably a little bit early for you, but we do have quite a number of California stations that are addicted and call in every morning from Eastern. Thanks, Mike. Nice to have you with us. Who else do I have? Stations that have never checked into the before. Got one little syllable at the end. Somebody from Portland, the Portland station. Try it again, please. Well, I guess we don't have anyone new with us tonight, other than the 3 that called in. So we'll move on to stations with questions. If you have an amateur radio related question, please give us your call sign and we'll try to get you an answer tonight. Once again, this is WB2JPQ. 400 connections and no one has a question. We're in a standby mode for stations that have an amateur radio related question.
Hey, this is Mike again, KF0SIV. I do have a question. We'll see if you guys can help. So I've got a handheld Baofeng, a BF-F8HP. And when I discovered you guys some other stations, I decided to reprogram that radio with RTS software. And I've been able to program that successfully. Charged the battery last night, and now in mode I cannot hear anything. Now I can hear our station, I can hear this conversation on that little handheld, but I can't hear any other stations or whatever when I tune into them or scan them. You guys ever seen that before? Have any recommendations on how I might fix that? Again, KF0SIV, back to net.
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
On Papa Kilo, if
you're on
like to hear a little opinion on an answer.
YZB. Is it? Yeah, Mike, I'm not sure I quite understand your question. You're on the KB5YZB repeater. You can only hear that? Is that what you're saying? The rest of the channels you're not hearing anything on?
I believe that's correct. I've manually programmed you guys in like the other mode, just the tuning mode, and I can hear this repeater just fine. But on the other like channel mode, and scanning through, it'll show that there's a signal coming in, but the radio is quiet. I turned up the volume. I've actually reset it.
Arizona node come in and wipe you out. It just took it off. Mike, I think we got... Are you sure that... it sounds like you're listening to stuff on the VFO side. Are you sure it's not in PLD code? That your radios and carrier squelch? The PLD? And if you don't have the right PL tone, you're not going to hear anything. Could that be a possibility? Hope you weren't on the note I took off, Mike. You still with me? Saying he's not connected. I took off K7 TRS or something like that in Arizona. But maybe we had a little glitch. Maybe one of the other control stations hit him off accidentally. We'll let him give a chance to reconnect. I'll take stations with a question. Who else has a question here tonight? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen here tonight. We're either going to get some stations with questions or Scott's going to sing. And I have heard Scott sing, so please, let's get in here and ask some questions. Call sign choice. Kilo 4,
I've never heard it sing, but I don't want to give it a shot.
I've got a comment about November Delta Zulu, in Ocala, Florida.
As well as November Juliet 1 Sierra, NJ1S, with a question.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. NJ1S, we got you, Kevin, KE7K, and Nick from Ocala, Florida, K4NDS. Good evening to you, Nick, and our question tonight for you is, how many clubs do you belong to, if any? And then we will... question, please.
Thank you. This is Nick. The call sign Kilo 4 November Delta Zulu. And I belong to one club, the Silver Springs Radio Club here in Ocala, established in 1947. And it's been fun. Just in the last couple of years, it's grown from 100 to 150 members. A lot of young guys in there. It's a neat, active club. No question tonight, just a comment. We hook up to the Tech Net through the repeater here each week, and thanks for hosting the net. Really enjoy listening. This is my first check-in, and I'm mobile, so I'll concentrate back on the road and say 7-3 for now. K4 and DZ.
Well, thank you, Nick. Yep. I'm sorry, I can't remember the repeater owner's name. I met him in Orlando. We had a nice little chat, and appreciate him connecting up for the morning brew and our net, and giving access so you could get in here. KE7K, one of our net controllers here tonight, did not want to hear Scott sing. So, Kevin, what do you have on your plate?
Hey, thanks, Dick. I just had a comment about that, the first question. If he's not around, it may not be super helpful to him, I guess, but it sounded at first blush to me that his VFO side of his radio, where he could hear us and talk to us, presumably, but he couldn't hear us on the channel side. Sounds like there was a mismatch probably on the PL tone on the channel side. And when he saved that channel, he didn't save it with the correct PL, but he happens to have the correct PL on the VFO side. That's all I had. KE7K.
Thanks, Kevin. Kind of what I thought too. Hey, Mike, are you back yet? Your note got disconnected. I think accidentally. KF0SI. I guess that. Eric, Shelburne, Vermont, NJ1F. Good evening to you. And what's your question tonight, Eric?
Yes, good evening, Dick, and everyone else on the 9050 Reflector Tech Net. It's not a technical question. Might seem a little on the ridiculous side, but I probably could have asked this next week, being closer to Hamvention. I know it's considered the biggest ham fest in the world. I personally have never been, but I've been thinking about going. With that, I was wondering if the 9050 East Coast Reflector group will have a table or tent set up at Hamvention there at Dayton, Ohio. Just out of curiosity, wondering if you guys will be set up there. You probably can answer this question yourself directly, but I'm sure there are probably some people that are within the sounds of my voice right now that are saying, well, I'm definitely going, and they'd probably like to know whether or not they can stop in and say hello to the group. That's all. Back over to you, Dick, NJ1S in Shelburne, Vermont. Over.
Good question, Eric. Somehow you coming into the DMR bridge, and I'm not sure if you're connected to that all-star node or just what, but you sure don't sound like you're on DMR. You're overdriven on analog. It's what you sound like. Yes, we're going to be there. We're trying to pull we're in the outdoor flea market. We're trying to pull the spots up. We're along with Henry, WB4IVB, and I just don't have those numbers right now, but if you hang on, we'll get them for you. But yes, we will be there. Same spot as we have been the last couple of years. And do stop by, and we'll be there. We're going to set up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm not sure whether we're going to come on Sunday or not. There wasn't much going on last year, and we kind of came and spent a couple hours and looked at each other, so I'm not sure if we're going to go back this year on Sunday to head. But yes, we will be there, and I'll try to get those numbers for you. What else do I have? Stations with a question. Stations with an amateur radio related question.
November 4,
Alpha
Romeo
Delta 6
Hotel
Golf.
Echo. November 4, Romeo Hotel Echo.
Alpha Delta 6 Golf. Oh, Alpha Delta 6 Golf. You mean there's two hands in Yucca Valley, California? Somebody besides Todd? 86G. And Roger, and 4RHE. Roger, you're up. And what's your situation with radio calls? How many do you belong to, Roger? Good evening.
WB2JPQ, good evening, Dick. November 4, Romeo Hotel Echo 1 Club. I think it's the oldest club in Broward. My question of last time about how the term working somebody came to be was never answered. For example, I worked him on 20 meters. Tonight, my question is, how did the term antenna farm originate? November 4, Roger Ham enthusiast. Return to...
Well, Roger, I think you're going to have to save that question for next week. Charles isn't with us tonight before, but Charles isn't going to make it. Else he comes in late, but I don't expect it. So I think that was something that he came up with, antenna farm. I cannot speak for Charles. So why don't you hold that question for a week and come back and ask it next week when Charles is here.
Copy, Dick. Thanks. Enjoy the rest of the evening. 4, Romeo Hotel Echo.
Right. Thank you, Roger. Be a good question for him to answer next week. Lawrence, Yucca Valley, California, AD6G. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you. And yeah, there is more than one ham in Yucca Valley. And so my question pertains to ham VoIP software. I'm wondering if anybody knows what's going on with the development. David McGough, I believe the email reflector was called ARM All-Star or something like that. It stopped working a year ago in May. And there hasn't been an update in ages. And I've tried to email the guy and got a bounce on one address and no response on the other. And so I'm just wondering what's happened to ham VoIP. If anybody happens to know out there. 86G.
David isn't here tonight either. K4FXC, David, are you with us this evening? K4FXC, I'm in here. Evening. Did you hear the question from 86G in Yucca Valley, California? If not, we can have them repeat it.
Yeah, I did copy the question, and I don't think I've gotten any emails from him. The email list was taken down, or the list server was. It's been a little over a year, about a little over a year ago, I guess now, because of a couple of issues. down and have not put back up yet. However, if you send a message in on the request in, I do answer virtually 100% of those. So, but I request about it. Handvoip is still doing well. Right now, I know there have not been any updates, but at the same time, everything there is maintained and functional. I don't know of any issues with anything yet. Yeah, I know it's an older kernel, older OS, etc., but everything that's there works. So it's not a concern about that. Anyhow, just wondering what email addresses you sent stuff through. Send it to my now. I will mention that if you try to send email to my Gmail account, which is currently listed on qrz.com, I am frequently having Gmail not deliver those messages, and I don't know why that is, but that's a common problem that has started happening with Gmail in the last several months. So I recommend that you use my direct email address. In fact, use my call sign, K4FXC, for example, at handvoip.org, or anyway, one of several others, but not sure what address that you used. But I'll put a reference to how to contact me, up on the website, and perhaps also, like I say, if you send a request in on the listserv, I do get those, K4FXC.
Okay, thank you. Understood. Yeah, about you. I had sent it to Google and didn't get the Google address didn't get an answer on that, and I got a bounce from. Of course, I don't have it in front of me. It was the last on a year ago, which is a domain I can't recall. I think it started with an I, but anyway. All right, it's just good to know things are still ongoing. It's kind of worrisome when the email just sort of stopped, I guess. Anyway, I guess my question is answered. I didn't expect to encounter you here. Good to hear from you, 86G.
Hey, K4FXC, I'm in here most Tuesday evenings, and I'll put up a contact page so folks can reach me. Contact page from the web server. That may work better. Email list in general, through the big providers, has gotten to be really difficult in the last year, particularly Gmail, which has been the go-to provider. And I mean, they will just silently, either they will block it and reject it, or they'll just silently drop it. But it's a sad state of affairs when Outlook and Microsoft deliver better than the other big three. Anyway, still around and doing well, K4FXC.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Lawrence, for your question. Like David said, you can find him here almost every Tuesday night. David's one of our system team members here. Stations with questions. Stations with amateur radio related questions. Call sign twice. 39 pair. This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
Net control, this is Kilo Echo 4, Zulu Yankee Quebec. Kilo Echo 4, Zulu Yankee Quebec.
Well, and that's Joe from Clinton Township, Michigan. Good evening, Joe, KE4ZYQ.
Good evening, Net Control. Actually, I have a turn of events here. Rather than a question, I do have a somewhat of an answer to an earlier question asked about the term antenna farm. It started actually way back in the 1950s, and it could do with satellite dishes, towers, or just regular mast antennas. And it got named Antenna Farm because of the land it was on and how antennas were. As if you were raising corn, just happened to be antennas. So there's the answer to starting in about the 1950s. That's KE4ZYQ.
Thanks, Joe. I didn't think of it at that. One of our, if you get our monthly magazine that's put out, but Charles California, he has an article every month called The Antenna Farm, and I guess my mind went right to Charles, not thinking Antenna Farm. Yes, I didn't know when it started, but sure, you're so right. I was thinking of Charles and of his article is entitled Antenna Farm, not previous to Charles. But thank you for enlightening us on that, Joe. Appreciate it.
No problem. I learn more from other people than I am able to pass on, but if I have inklings of some answers to share, that's what the whole company is about. Ham radio, fellowship, and community. But back to that, KE4 ZYQ. Listening out.
And you are so right, Joe. We all learn something every day in ham radio. Thank you. Who else do I have? Stations with an amateur radio related question.
Whiskey 4 Foxtrot, Whiskey November. Whiskey 4 Foxtrot, Whiskey November.
Good evening, Dan. Sanford, Florida, I think. CMT Mike and our aeronautical mobile Carlos, I think they were just had dinner in Sanford tonight. Good evening, W4FWN.
Well, good evening, Dick, and everyone else on the net. My question is, I think you mentioned earlier how to subscribe to the and drop it along there. Could you repeat how you subscribe to the magazine? Back to Net Control, W4FWN.
Absolutely. It's our bit.ly address, the well, not ours, but it's bit.ly/ECR in the word subscribe. ECR subscribe. That's how you can subscribe yourself to our monthly magazine. bit.ly/ECR subscribe.
Okay, no dots or anything else in there, just this dash. Is that right, Dick?
Well, the bit dot, period, if you will, ly, and then the /ECR subscribe. bit dot, however you want to call it, period, whatever, ly/ECR subscribe. Dan, there's a lot of information. If you go to ECR log, or logs, bit.ly/logs, that's where you can follow along on the sheet, and I believe on the bottom or somewhere on there, there's a lot of the other subscribe and some of the other shortcuts that we have. So bit.ly/ECR logs. Is it logs or log, Vic? Is it plural? I can't remember. Yes, logs. Okay. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dick. Appreciate it.
And what else do we have? Stations with an amateur radio related question.
AC1
KC1 JPD, Kilo Charlie 1, Juliet Papa Delta. Jeffrey, Milton, Vermont. Good evening, KC1 JPD. Good evening, Dick, and everyone on the net. To answer the question, I do not belong to any radio clubs currently, although there's some good ones around me, up in St. Albans and down in Burlington. But my question is a little bit different. I just went through a little period, little health thing with some atrial flutter. Everything's good and I'm fine now, but it had me thinking about ham radio or amateur radio and the people that may need a pacemaker. Does anyone know, is there a safety issue with people that might have a pacemaker with using amateur radio? Just curious if anyone has any experience with that. Back to net, KC1 JPD. I guess I forgot the answer to that too, Jeffrey. That hasn't come up on here, but we've discussed it over the years, and I don't have an answer for that, and I wouldn't want to comment, but we'll put it out to the group. Anybody has an answer for Jeffrey on pacemakers and amateur radio? I suppose if you belly up to a couple thousand watt amplifier might jar your got a pacemaker or not. Anybody help us out here?
Comment? K4FXC comment.
Only acceptable to microwaves. 6G plus microwave emissions. KF5 WFX, this is thought. Clear listening, ECR. Comment, KC0BBF. Alright, there's a man right there, my friend Steve, KC0BBF. Well, I'll let you go in just a minute. I know Steve has a defibrillator in. He's a regular in the Zoom room, but I'm going to send this to David. He called in first. David, K4FXC.
All right, K4FXC. I don't have personal experience. However, I do have some stories to pass along of a local ham who, this has been, I guess this has been 20 years ago. So the big thing is, all this technology, defibrillators and everything and pacemakers has evolved radically. So it's perhaps not as big an issue as it was one time. But, I guess it was back in the 90s. He had one of the newer of a pacemaker with a defibrillator. And he kept 20 meters on high power, HF running, full bore, and he woke up on the floor. So the answer is you do have to be cautious. I would certainly say you'd want somebody else around when you at least first start using radio gear, and certainly get feedback from your doctor about it. That's the first and top level. But I know a personal experience of a local person, who did have a problem. And this was high power, 1,500 watts on HF, I believe it was 20 meters, K4FXC.
Comment, KF5 WFX. Hold on, Marcus, we'll get you in queue. Just give us your call sign, KF5 WFX. And Steve, good evening, Lincoln, Nebraska, KC0B. And I'm sure here's the man that can tell us. Good evening, Steve.
Yes, this is KC0BBF. Well, good evening, Dick, and the rest of the crew and that. Well, I was told that as long as you do low power, like 5 to 10 watts, you should be fine, because I do have a mag mount antenna across the so it hasn't bothered it as much, so no problems there. As long as you're low power, you should be fine. Because I did talk to my doctor, because I recently had a defibrillator put in, so It hasn't bothered it so far. Back to that, KC0BBF. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Steve. And Mark, EF5WFX, you had a comment? Yeah, I got a comment, all right. Yeah, you go to the doctor's office, all right, or, okay. Hey, doctor, I'm running a powered radio rig there, and will it affect my pacemaker? The doctor gets a funny look on his face, and he says, well, sir, I don't know. I don't know what you're it's your problem. Yeah, really? You're going to think you're going to ask a doctor if a radio frequency affects a pacemaker? Seriously? F5WFX, over. The comments for Jeffrey.
CBW.
Heard Mike in there too. Hang on a minute, Mike. Roy, go ahead.
We talked to the tech from the company and the doctor that implanted it, and this is back in the late 1990s, before 2000 passed away. And the tech from the company said as long as he wasn't standing in close proximity to a radiating element of the antenna, and he saw no problems with, you know, standard legal.
Roy. Was that Mike, KC5CBW?
Yeah, that's Roger, Dick. Yeah, mine was put in about 2 years ago now, and I'm running 50 watts right now, no on dual band, and they told me that they would be fine. I would recommend you check with the manufacturer, and depends on how old it is, how long it's been since it was made. The filtration on them is a lot better than it used to be. Getting around microwaves, so brakes. AT. And I talked to my cardiologist recently, and because I used to weld all the time, they told me not to get around welders, but he said I'd be fine as long as it was just doing tack work, things like that, but stay away from large motors. Anything creates a good-sized magnetic field, but I would recommend you talk to whoever manufactured it and your cardiologist. KG5, CBW. IW7RAT.
Hey, thanks, WFX. That's the craziest thing I ever heard. Like the doctor cares about your radio. Come on, man. All the time, man, oh man. All right, we'll take one more time. I just gave you a checkers here. 5WFX. I'll be clear. Manufacturer that you need to get advice from your doctor, so we don't want to second guess anybody or mislead anybody. I'll take one more comment of W7RAT.
This is W7RAT. I think it really depends on the strength around you, and that depends upon the SWL and power level. I put a field strength meter, so indicates a strong field. Stay away. Wonder how I found just testing something, W7RAT.
Thanks, Mike. You're awful distorted. Very, very very heavy on audio. All right. Anybody else? Radio question. This is Dick. Double get B2JPQ. Last call for any station with an amateur radio related question.
Alpha 04 calls, AK4G, Jim, Jacksonville, Florida.
Hi, Jim. Florida, AK4G. Go ahead with your question. You're a little bit noisy. I think we'll be able to pull you through.
Peter, anyway, just a couple of questions in general regarding Echolink. I don't know if there's an issue with the local repeater. What I'm noticing on my end is that many times conversations just seem to disappear. I'll be listening to a QSO, and then all of a sudden that station will hear, I hear nothing. And then all of a sudden I'll hear net control again. So I'm just wondering if there might be an issue with the local repeater, or what might be going on there.
Well, Jim, if you're talking about our net, this net here, you should not be connected to a local repeater. You should be connected to one of our servers. ECR 9050. ECR 9050 on Echolink is our gateway. Is that what you're connected to?
I'm accessing this through what's the frequency? 147.390 repeater in Jackson Beach. So I'm accessing you through a VHF Jacksonville Beach and not directly.
See you coming in on that repeater, but what is that? Are you having trouble with our Echolink server, ECR 9050? What Echolink server are you having a problem with?
Access you through the repeater and not through any server or anything, so I'm just accessing the net through this local repeater. And it just seems like to me at times the conversations just drop out, so I didn't know. Do you need to be connected to the computer to access this net?
I got you now. I'm sorry. It's slow here tonight. No, you're fine. If it's dropping out on your end, perhaps it's the repeater gets a lot of use. Several stations every morning or in the morning brew on it. Not aware of any problems. Maybe you're into it. Maybe you're not hearing strong enough. Maybe it's dropping out on your end. But you're doing fine. Sounds like you need a little bit more fire in the wire. Get a little bit better signal in, and maybe a decent antenna. Not knowing what you got there, something different. You'll be hearing it a little bit better, Jim. But it sounds like you're doing everything. KC7, ONX check.
Repeater on receive, and that's receive. I've got full scale on my radio on the receive, and yet at times the Echolink conversation just disappears, and then all of a sudden I hear you talking again, and the station that was QSO over, so email the trustees of the repeater and put 3 there, and I'll get more better setup here so I can do a better job. Thank you, Dick. 7-3 from AK4G.
Hey, Jim. Yeah, Echolink has nothing to do with. They have apparently they have an Echo repeater, but they're coming into us out there. So something's going on there. I can't help you from this end, but we show no abnormals at all here tonight. Thanks for the question. Good luck, Jim. KC9, we missed your call, Alan. I think you doubled or something. The KC70 or KC70, your complete call sign, please. The KC7 that had a question. Good. Last call for stations with an amateur radio related question here tonight.
Hello, Juliet 5, Hotel Mike, Quebec.
Well, James, you came back. Were you the one that got disconnected? I don't think so. KJ5HMQ, good evening again.
Good evening. I have a question for you. I'm currently using Echolink, and I generally like Echolink. The problem that I have is that sometimes it seems very finicky on its connection, and I also use All-Star. And I find that All-Star generally works better when it comes to flaky connections. But what is your preferred method, I say personally, of connecting in to the ECR system? And
well, that's a good question, James. Of course, All-Star, we didn't even allow it here for probably 10 years, something like that, at least 10 years, because of the quality of the audio. Things have come a long way over the last few years. Codecs and so forth has improved, but obviously All-Star, I would do that All-Star. Why would you fool with Echolink? Jim, maybe it wasn't the answer that you wanted to hear, Jim, but anything else we can do for you?
oh no, that's fine. I was just hanging out to see if anybody else wanted to. I'm currently using Echolink on a phone because I'm in a position where I don't have a good spot to set All-Star Note radio and all that kind of stuff, but I generally prefer All-Star, but I didn't know if there were any other, like I know that there's other options listed on the website for connection. Is there anything that you prefer over All-Star?
So personally, that's going to give you the best audio. You might look into our IAX bridge, James. Seeing that you have an All-Star account, you can download the app, whether it be the iPhone or Android, and as long as you have an All-Star account, you need the All-Star password. You can set up your phone to get into our bridge through your phone, so you actually can through your phone through our IAX bridges. And that was all written up here back a few months ago in one of our monthly magazines. If you need the information, we can get it to you.
Sir, thank you. I haven't looked into IAX bridges, so that may be a good option for me to look into. Appreciate it. KHMQ.
It'll work out nice for you. It's a great way to go. You know, not a permanent solution, but you know, when you're out and about and are away, it works out great. You know, from your cell phone, both Android and iPhone. Need help? Just let us know. We can find the links for you. You need to download the app. It's free, I think. A couple bucks, I think, for the iPhone, but very, very simple to do, and all you need is your All-Star. You just need your All-Star password. All right, last call. Anybody left out there with a question tonight? Amateur radio.
Whiskey 6 Mike Hotel Sierra Mobile in Southern California. Whiskey Mike Hotel Sierra.
Francesco, W6MHS, good evening to you.
And to you and everybody at Francisco from the city of Redlands, Southern California. I had a question, and my first time I'm gonna ask. I tried myself to find the solution, but I give it up. Okay, like the other gentleman that he was talking about, any other way to the system. When I don't have no access to my All-Star Link node, I use other software, but definitely I don't want to use Echolinks, because I know it's better than before, but the audio quality is not really like the All-Star Link. But now I have the TV Switch application installed on one of my cell phones, which actually this cell phone has a real PTT. My intention was to use it away from my... But the problem is, and my question is, why I cannot access to my All-Star Link node if I'm using this TV Switch application outside of my network, outside of my internet connection. If I use my regular data, if I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi at home, can I use it? Anybody can give me what I need to correct this problem? This is W6MHS, Mobile, California.
Might be a question for David. It sounds like it's working locally for you, but it's not working off your home network. Just put it up. I never can remember our gateway, and I meant to Jim this, or was it Jim or James, whoever asked the previous question. To access our by 598529. That's the bridge All-Star number, 598529. You cannot access 27339459192 or 45225 directly DV switch. You must go through our bridge, 598529. Who can help Francisco out there with his problem? He cannot use DV switch outside of his home network.
Thank you very much. I don't want to tag this too much. Thank you very much. I'll be clear after this. Please, thanks for conducting the Tech Net. This is W6MHS. Listening.
VE3VZ.
Hang on, Francisco, we're trying to get you an answer here. Go ahead, Kevin, what do you... You're just calling in to make sure you don't forget you, aren't you? But go ahead.
I know you won't forget me again. Anyway, I don't know if this will help or not, but in the settings in the app, under general settings, make sure you I only turned off. That's the only thing I can really think of. If it works at home, it should work on the anywhere else. So try that and see if that's the problem. VE3BZ.
Boy, good point, Kevin. That question came up in the Zoom room here 6 months ago. Yes, that could very well forehead is set for Wi-Fi only. That might be your answer, W6MH. Make sure it's not for Wi-Fi only.
Thank you very much, W6MH SWL.
Thank you, Kevin. Last call. Station radio related question. Well, hearing nothing, I can't forget you, Kevin. E3BZ. Excuse me, what do you got for us tonight?
Well, thank you, Dick, and good evening, everyone. Tonight I have, let's see, a few listings here. Starting us off is Danny K5CG in Plano, Texas. Is selling a Yaesu FT2DR handheld. That's C4 FM and analog dual band. So with APRS, built-in GPS. Recording and logging capabilities, is water resistant, and comes with many accessories. Asking $400 plus shipping, which includes insurance inside the continental U.S. Contact Danny by email at k5cg@hamoperator.org. Next listing is from Gil, K4GDS in Orlando. Gil is selling a Yaesu FT70D along with an MMDVM hotspot. This is another C4FM analog radio. Also does receives airbands. Comes with an MMDVM Pi-Star hotspot, Yaesu SS-17H speaker mic, rapid charger, USB charging cable. Asking $375, and Gil's email is k4gds@icloud.com. And John, VE3H in Windsor, Ontario, has a few listings here. He's got various items of an estate sale. Now these items are actually located across the river from Windsor in Detroit, Michigan, and everything will be shipped from there at the buyer's expense. Also, all the prices will be U.S. funds. But there's too many things to list here, so contact John by email at ve3mph@yahoo.com. You can also, if you subscribe to the groups.io list, you can see the listing there and there's a link to some of the things that he has. Let me drop for a minute, sec.
Kilo 4 Golf does air comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Gil.
Yeah, just one correction there. The value on what I'm selling is about 370 asking price.
Oh, well, you cut out right when you said the asking price. What is it again?
Yeah, the asking price is $225. I don't know if I made an error when I submitted that to you or what.
That's possible. Or maybe I just didn't see it, but $225. Okay, there. Gil's price is $25 for that FT70D. My apologies, Gil. I'll make the changes. All right, and our last listing, also by John, VE3MPH, is some of his own personal gear that he's selling. Again, multiple items. Too much here to list, so you can just contact John. Again, VE3MPH@yahoo.com, and there's also links provided in the groups.io listing, as well as on in the ECR magazine. There's a swap and shop section in there as well. All right, that is all I have for this week. If you have anything for sale, trade, or want, just go to eastcoastreflector.com, click on Contact ECR and or just email me at ve3bz@rogers.com. And that is all I have. Back to Net Control, VE3BZ.
Well, you got a lot this week. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for all the hard work, keeping all that stuff straight for us. Well, that'll do it for me tonight. Thank you, Vicki, for logging. Next up is going to be Scott, W2BLT, and then Kevin K7K is going to bring up the rear and the late and mist. Vicki and I will see you tomorrow morning. We're going to do the full 2 hours from 7 to 9. Have a good evening, everyone. This is WB2JPQ.
Well, thank you, Dick. Kevin, this is W2BLT. We're going to take call districts starting with 1 tonight. Be 1 through 0, late mist. I'll be taking 1 through 5. The question is, how many radio clubs do you belong to? I want to remind everybody that the text line is open. You do not have to wait for your call district to text in. We will put it in, but you don't have to wait for it to check in. The number is 716-317-9050, and it makes it a lot easier for you to get in if you happen to be in a pileup. With that, let's go to the ones. If you have a 1 in your call sign, please come now. 1 Juliet Papa Delta, 1 JPD. November 1, Whiskey Echo Bravo. November 1, Whiskey Echo Bravo on Echolink. November 1, Charlie Bravo Mike, N1 CBM. Recognizing N1 CBM Carlos, N1 WEB Webb, and KC1 JPD Jeffrey. Anyone else with 1? Last call to the ones. Please come now. With nothing heard, let's go to Jeffrey in Milton, Vermont. KC1 JPD. Good evening. On the net, first of all, thank you for the answer to my question earlier. That was great getting those responses. I'm not sure if you had marked down my response to your question, and so I figured I'd call that. I am not a part of any radio clubs right now, so you can put me down for 0. I hope everyone has a wonderful night. JPD, back to net. Thank you, Biz. 1 WE Webb in Collierville, Tennessee. Good evening, Webb. Oh, thank you, Scott, and good evening to the Web N1 WEB. You can put me down for two clubs, Anchorage Amateur Radio Club up in Alaska and the Delta Club near Memphis, Tennessee. Thanks for running the net, and I'm sure glad I didn't have to hear you sing tonight. N1 WEB.
You broke my heart. Thanks for stopping by. N1 CBM, Carlos, mobile guru. Good evening, Carlos. Maybe Orlando.
Good evening, Scott. Hello, Vicky, everybody else in the Zoom room and in the system. I had a nice dinner with Mike and Joe earlier in Sanford. We had a great time. Took a couple pictures, sent it to Vicky there. I am part of one club only, the Palmetto ARC down in Davie. That's it. And one CBM. Back to you, Scott.
Thanks, Carlos. It's always fun when you can get together with the boys. And you picked two of the best, I'll tell you. Have a good evening, Carlos. Alrighty, let's go to the twos. Via the text line, we already have KD2, JPP, Bob, RBC, Randy, WA2, UUS, VK2, DY, Robert, and W2AJR, Andy, and we have N2ZVN. And is there anyone else out there with a 2 in your call sign? Please come now, twice with your call sign. KD2VNU, KD2VNU.
That is 2 Echo Charlie, Zulu Sierra 2 Echo Charlie.
W2JV, W2KJV.
Kilo Echo 2 Echo Kilo India. Kilo Echo 2 Echo India.
Alrighty, we'll hold it up there for a moment. Let me recognize from the bottom up, we had KE2 EDS, Mark and Elma. KE2 EKI, Nicholas in Rochester, new to the system. We had N2 ZBN, Alan. W2 KJV, Tony. ZS2EC, Tom. KD2 VNU, Derby, Dan, and W2AJR. Anyone else with a 2 in your call sign, please come now. Well, with nothing heard, this is W2BLT. The question of the evening is, how many radio clubs do you belong to? Let's go to Bob in Gallatin, Tennessee. KD2 JPP. Good evening. KD2 JPP. Bob, are you still with us? Well, we'll go to the next one on the list. W2, RBC, Randy in West Seneca. Good evening.
Good evening, Scott, Vicky, and everyone on the Tech Net. I belong to 2 radio clubs. Those are Lark and Ronnie, and both are in Western New York. 73 to all, W2, RBC.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate all you do. WA2, UUS, Joel in Buffalo, New York. Good evening, Joel.
Everybody else on the net, that's the question tonight. I belong to 3 local area, and also the ARRL. I wish everyone a nice week ahead. Be well and be safe. Thank you, Scott.
Well, enjoy the rest of the evening, and thanks for stopping by tonight, Joel. Around the world, Kellyville Ridge, New South Wales, Australia. Robert, VK2DY. Good day, Robert.
Good evening to you. Good morning from here. It's still morning, 11:26. It's Robert, VK2DY in northwestern Sydney. Beautiful day here today. It's 25 Celsius, which is 77 Fahrenheit. It's getting warmer than that yet. Pretty good for almost winter. Anyway, beautiful day. As far as clubs, I used to belong to a club called WARS, Waverly Amateur Radio Society. And somewhere around their 100th anniversary, I forgot to renew, and I haven't renewed since. So the answer right now is 0. VK2DY.
All righty, thank you, Robert, and enjoy the rest of the nice day you're having today. Next, Indy W2AJR in Chickawaga, New York. Good evening.
Not everybody on the net. I belong to just one, Lancaster Amateur Radio Club. That's enough. 7-3 off. Thank you, Scott.
Alrighty, you have a good evening, Andy, and thanks for joining us. KD2, VNU, one of our team members, Derby Dan in Derby, New York. Good evening.
Good evening, Scott. Good evening to the rest of the net. KD2 VNU. I belong to one Lancaster Amateur Radio Club out of Lancaster. Returning back to the net. Everybody have a good evening. 7-3, KD2 VNU.
Thanks for joining us, Dan. Have a good evening. Next up, my buddy Tom, Cape of South Africa, ZS2EC. Good evening, Tom.
Good evening, everybody. Good morning. AM this morning. Belong to City Club, and you can right here. I can add that to the site 4. Thank you, and I would have thought you would sing maybe an opera. Thank you, Scott.
Well, thanks for joining us, Tom. I hope things are well with you. Enjoy the rest of the day. Seems how you're just... you too, KJV, Tony in Homosassa, Florida. Good evening, Tony.
Good evening, Scott, and everyone on the Tech Net tonight. Tony and so we're at degree. I belong to 0 radio clubs at the moment, Scott. Everyone has a good week, and 7-3 all. Scott, W2KJV.
All right, have a good evening, Tony, and thanks for helping with the pictures and the slideshows. We do appreciate it. Next up, N2, ZVN, Alan, Kendall. Good evening, Alan, and how many radio clubs do you belong to? ZVN, are you still with me? Let's go to KE2EKI, Nicholas in Rochester, New York. Look to the system. Welcome.
Hi, this is KE2EKI, Nick in Rochester, New York, checking in for the first time here tonight.
I belong to two radio clubs, technically. The one is my local club, Rochester Amateur Radio Association, and I'm an online member of the Long Island CW Club, because I've really taken a love for the CW and QRP, Coda, having a blast with that, so that's it, back to that.
Well, thanks for joining us, Nick, and we're here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, and love to have you again. Don't be Next up, Mark at KE2EDS, one of the major players in the Wednesday night open mic net. Good evening, Mark.
Scott, Vicky, and the rest of the net. I am a member of one club currently, and looking to join the second club soon. KE2EDS. Have a great evening.
Alrighty, thank you, Mark. Appreciate you stopping by. Now let's see if KD2JPP's in there. I see he texted in again. Are you with us now, Bob?
I hope so. I don't know. I'll find out in a few seconds if you answer me. But question, 0 clubs for me. And everybody stay safe and have a great week. So let's see if you heard me this time. Sorry about that.
Well, we got you loud and clear that time, Bob. You have yourself a good night and appreciate you joining us. Alrighty, it's time to go for the threes. Via the text line, we have KD3ATQ and VE3TCS. What do we have with a 3 in your call sign? Please come now.
WV3GTF. Whiskey Baker 3 Golf Tango Mike.
Whiskey 3 Alpha Tango November, W3ATN.
November 5 Delta 6 Tango, November 5 Delta 2 Tango.
Alpha 3 Alpha India India. Alrighty, we'll hold it up there for a moment, recognizing from the bottom, we had VA3, AII, Kevin. We had N5, DJT, in Gatesville, Texas. We had W3ATF. Is that a correct call for Tango Foxtrot?
Whiskey 3 Alpha Tango November.
Alrighty, we got you that time, Steve. You sure didn't sound like a Shirley to me. How about N5DJT? Is that correct as well?
Go. For Roger.
Okay, we'll be back to you in a second. We had WB3G as well. Anyone else with a 3? Last call for the 3s. Please come now.
KB3, Victor Papa Kilo.
Alrighty, we got Mary sandbagging down in Easton, Pennsylvania tonight. KB3VPK. Alright, let's go to the top of this. KD3ATQ, Jim in Easton, Pennsylvania as well. Good evening, Jim, and how many radio clubs do you belong to?
Good evening, Scott, Vicky, and the group. Currently belong to one club. Back to net control, KD3ATQ.
Alrighty, Jim, one it is. Thanks for joining us tonight. VE3 TCS, Tim, in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Good evening, Tim.
This is VE3 TCS Mobile. I belong to the Railway Radio Amateurs of Canada, our federal or national association, and two local clubs, and I happen to be on the way home from a meeting tonight. Last night, another club had a meeting. It was set back a week because of the election, and we had an American come over. Thank you, Net Control. Good evening to you, and good evening to the Net. Nice to be awake. Thanks for taking my call, even though I don't have a coffee in my hand. Back to Net. Over.
Alrighty, thank you, Tim. You can have that cup of Joe in the morning. Appreciate you joining us. WB3 GTM, Mike in Westford, Vermont. Good evening. Good evening, Scott. Net Control Ops, everyone on a net. This is Mike, WB3 GTM. Good to hear you, Scott. I currently do not belong to any clubs. I am a lifetime member of the RRL. I'll say, but I don't think so. But thanks for running the net. Thanks for checking me in. 7-3. I'm back to Net Control. This is WB3 GTM. Alrighty, good to talk with you, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. This is W2BLT. Next up, W3 ATN. Steve in Middletown, Maryland. Good evening, and how many radio clubs do you belong to?
Well, good evening to everyone on the net. I belong to ARL, but also one local radio club. And with that, I'll pass it back to Net. This is W3ATN, 73 all.
All right, you have a great evening, Steve, and thanks for joining us. Next up, N5 at TJT. Looks like you're new to the system in Gatesville, Texas. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. First time checking in. Currently, consider me a freelancer. I do for the Coryell County EOC for the management. Other than that, I just participate on local nets. So, this is November 5 Delta Juliet Tango at a Gatesville 73.
Alrighty, thanks for joining us, Leo, and don't be a stranger. And if you make that email on QRZ Public, we'll get you out a welcome letter. You can read about what the system's about and all kinds of good information. Appreciate you joining us. Next up, VA3AII, Kevin. Good evening. Well, Kevin, get that. I'm going down to run a couple. I'll come back to you. Maybe you'll be closer to that repeater a little bit. Let's go to KB3 VPK, Mary in Easton, Pennsylvania. Good evening, Mary.
Good evening, everyone on the net. I'm not a member of any local club, but I do feel like I am a member of the Reflector Club. Back to you, Scott. KB3.
YL.
Alrighty, thanks, Mary. Appreciate you joining us. Always good to talk with you. Alrighty, we're going to move on to the 4s before I go back and pick up Kevin and Ken. Via the text, we had a KK4 SED Les, AK4G Jim, K4GDS Gil, KW4 SOG Mike, and KQ4 GLY Chris. Who else do we have without your call sign? Please come now.
B4 PPX, B4 PPX.
KQ4 UPK, KQ4 UP. 4 Foxtrot Hotel Echo. Quebec 4 Foxtrot Hotel Echo. This is 9 Yankee 4 Delta X-ray Bertram.
Whiskey 4 Foxtrot Whiskey November. Whiskey 4 Foxtrot Whiskey November.
Whiskey 4 Hotel Kilo Lima. Whiskey 4 Hotel Kilo Lima.
Echo 7 Tango 4 Echo.
Kilowatt 5 Hotel Lima Hotel. I'm out of order, but somebody dropped our link. Are we causing any interference with the All-Star? Please advise K5.
Yeah, that station out of Grants, New Mexico, looks like it was keying up a while back. I haven't heard it too bad, though. But we haven't got to the 5s yet, so we're just working on the 4s, so your time will come up in that 7 station. If you hold off for a little bit there, we'll get to the 7s eventually. Any other 4s out there, please come now before I acknowledge this whole list. Well, with nothing heard, let me recognize the 4s. We had W4HKL Steve, W4FWN Dan, 9Y4DX Bertrand, KQ4FHE Pat, KQ4UPK Chris, W4PPX Don, KQ4GLY, KW4SOG Mike, and I acknowledge the rest. Before we run the 4s, I had a 3 that was a little bit far from his repeater. Let's see if he's in there now. VA3AII, Kevin, up in Canada. Are you there? I'm sorry, Kevin, we're not getting any audio in, but thanks for joining us on the log at any rate, and hopefully if you come back in, you can get in on the latent mist. Let's go to KK4 SED Les. This is W2BLT. Evening, Les.
Here in Claremont, Florida. Again, 78 degrees here as well. It belongs just to one radio club here in Florida, Lake County. KK4 SED Tech Net.
Alrighty, thank you, Les. I've heard about them boys in the Lake County Club. Bunch of good eggs. Have a good night, and thanks for joining us. Let's go to AK4G, Jim in Jacksonville, Florida. Good evening. EK4G, are you still with me?
Amateur Radio Club here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Hope everybody has a super fantastic weekend, and I'm trying to figure out how to connect the ECR 9050 through Echo Link.
Well, if you're on your phone, just go to that search bar at the top when you open Echo Link and search ECR 9050. It'll pop right up for you. Have a good evening, and thanks for joining us. Next up, K4 is GDS, Gil in Orlando, Florida. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I got to agree with Mary, what she said earlier. I don't belong into any ham radio club, but I do feel like I'm part of the ECR family. K4 GDS, back to net.
You are, Gil, and we appreciate it. You have yourself a great evening. KW4 SOG, Mike in Huntsville, Alabama. Good evening.
Body on the net from the Rocket City, KW4 SOG. I am a member of the Huntsville Amateur Radio Club. It's the only one that I'm a member of currently. Hope everybody has a great night. Back to net, KW4 SOG.
Well, thanks for stopping by tonight, Mike, and you have a great rest of the evening. KQ4 PLY, Chris in Parrish, Florida. Good evening.
Good evening, Scott, and everyone on the net. Currently, I'm not a member of any clubs. Back to you, Scott.
All right, Chris, you have yourself a good evening. Thanks for joining us. W4 PPX, Don, and down in Hollywood, Florida. Good evening.
Hey, good evening to you and everybody on the Tech Net. I belong to one club, Cooper City Amateur Radio Club. I've been with them for right around 6 years now. Nothing else. Back to you. Hope everybody has a good evening. W4 PPX, back to net control.
Hey, thanks, Don. You have a good evening. We'll listen for you in the morning. KQ4 UPK, Chris in Fort Pierce, Florida. Good evening, Chris. And how many radio clubs do you belong to?
Hey there, Scott. How you doing, buddy? And how's the logger, the old girl there? How's she doing? Vicky, hope you're doing well. I'm part of the same club as the last station, David Amateur Radio, David Cooper City Amateur Radio Group, and also another one. It's the Coral Springs Repeater Group, and so I would. And so mark me down for 2, and I hope you guys are doing well, and thank you for having me on the net.
Well, thank you for stopping by tonight, Chris, and have a good evening. KQ4 FHE, Pat in Harvest, Alabama. Good evening, Pat.
Good evening, Scott, and everybody else on the Tech Net. No, I don't, I'm not a member of any of the local club meetings. Good night to everybody, 73. This is KQ4 FHE. Back to you, Scott.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate you stopping by. Next up, Bertrand, 9Y4DX, over in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Good evening, Bertrand.
Pleasant evening to you, Net Control, W2PLT, Scott. This is 9Y4DX, Bertrand, yes. My QTH is Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Well, let me extend a pleasant evening to all other stations on the
East Coast Reflector Tech Net this evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Trinidad and Tobago today experienced warm weather. At this point, it is still 80 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going down tonight to just around 79, so it wouldn't be much cooler than it is now. And it's very warm here in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, with respect to the question at hand, Scott, I am only a member of one club, a club here in Trinidad and Tobago. It is called the Trinidad and Tobago Amateur Radio Society. And that's the only club to which I belong. That's it from me. Back to you, Net Control, W2BLT. This is 9Y4 here.
Joining us, Bertrand, and try to stay cool, and you have a good week. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. This is W2. Let's go to W4FWN, Dan, Sanford, Florida. Good evening.
Well, good evening, Scott, and everyone else on the net. This is Whiskey 4 Foxtrot Whiskey November. No clubs. Since we moved about 4 years ago, I haven't found a club in the area. Used to belong to the Orlando Amateur Radio Club that puts on the hamcation, but since we moved, I'm not a member of any club. Back to Net Control. This is Whiskey 4 Foxtrot Whiskey November.
All right, thanks for joining us, Dan, and have a good evening. Next up, Steve, W4HKL down in Cumberland Gap, Tennessee. Good evening.
Good evening. I hope you're well and enjoying the net. I'm currently not a member of any club. I think our local club, there's been rumors we're going to start it back, but as of yet, it has not happened. So put me down for a 0. Back to Net Control, W4HKL.
Alrighty, 0 it is. And thanks for stopping by tonight, Steve. Last on this list, one of our team members here and key players in East Coast Reflector, Joe, KO4FRR in Sorrento, Florida. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, Scott. This is Joe, KO4FR. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. It's hot down here. To answer the question, Lake Amateur Radio Association, and of course East Coast Reflector. So too, for me. Talk to you later, KO4FR.
Alrighty, Joe. We all appreciate what you do, and you have yourself a great evening. Alright, this is W2BLT. Let's move on to the 5s. If you have a 5 in your car, please come now twice.
Kilo Juliet 5, Lima Charlie Delta. Kilo Juliet 5, Lima Charlie Delta.
Well, recognizing KI5PMI via the text, KJ5LCD, Lewis in Magnolia, Texas. Anyone else with a 5? Please come now.
K5HOH, Kilowatt 5, Hotel Lima Hotel, Harry
5, India Mike, Dan and Spring.
Whiskey Romeo 5 Golf, Jerry in Northwest Houston.
Alrighty, we'll hold it up there. Let's recognize WR5G, Jerry, KJ5, IMZ, Dan, K5HLH, Harry, and I acknowledge the rest. Let's go to the top of this list. Question of the evening is, how many radio clubs do you belong to? Let's go to KJ5, LCD, Lewis in Magnolia, Texas.
Good evening and good night to everybody. Currently I don't belong to any clubs, but there is several in my area. I think I'm going to go to one of their meetings and meet a couple of the hams there and see what I have to do to join. If there's any dues or any donations you have to make or anything like that. But we'll be joining at least one for now.
Alrighty, thank you, Lewis, for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Next up via the text line, KI5 PMI, Bill in Hobbs, New Mexico. Good evening, Bill.
Good morning. Good evening, Scott. Matt. No, I do not belong to a radio club. Hope everybody has a good evening. KI5 PMI. Back to that.
Alrighty, thank you, Bill, and I'm glad I'm not the only one that says morning. Appreciate you stopping by. K5 HLH, Harry in Grants, New Mexico. Good evening.
Good evening. We haven't dropped out again. I hope it's not causing any interference with our All-Star node. K5HLH, we've had some more weather come in on us, some rain, hail, weather temperatures dropped again, but it's just hit and miss in good old New Mexico. We're good on QRZ for the history of our club and our call signs, so thanks for running the net. We have you connected to 4 repeaters, 3 of them at 12,000 feet northwest New Mexico. K5HLH, back to net.
Well, 1,000 feet. Good Lord, you got to be talking to Germany about now. Have a great night, Harry, and heard you just fine. Next up, KJ5, IMZ, Dan in Spring, Texas. Good evening, Dan. KJ5, IMZ, Danny is still with us. Well, we'll mark him as in and out. Last one on this list for me, WR5G, Jerry in Houston. Jerry.
Well, good evening to everyone on the net, and I am currently a member of 2 local ham radio clubs here in the Houston area, the Northwest Amateur Radio Society and Crossroads Ham Radio Club, and also a life member of the ARRL there as well. So enjoyed the net. Great question tonight. I'll turn it back over to you. WR5G, back to net control.
Hey, Jerry, thanks for joining us, and I appreciate it. All right, that's going to do it for me, folks. Kevin's going to take you out to the
5 straight out through the Leighton Mist. Everybody that checked in with me today. Thanks to Vicky on the log tonight, as always. And this is W2 BLT. It's all yours, Kevin.
All right, thank you very much. This is KE7K. I'll be doing the last third of the net this evening. I'll be running the 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0 call districts, and then late or missed stations. Thanks to Scott and Dick for taking the first couple thirds there, and thanks to Vicky for pulling all 3 shifts. We'll move on to the 6th call district. So far via the text line, we've got Mike, Kilo 6 Alpha Alpha November. If you have a 6 in your call sign and you'd like to check in, please come now.
Kilo Hotel Delta.
Kilo Oscar 6 Charlie Papa November KO6 CPN.
November 6 Sierra Delta Zulu. November 6 Sierra Delta Zulu.
Kilo November 6 Golf Sierra Golf. Kilo November 6 Golf Sierra Golf. Quebec Delta.
All right, couldn't recognize who we got here. KF6HDJ, Brent, got you. Something's keying up your Echolink node. Curious if you got on Vox or something. We'll come to you in just a second. Glenn, KN, KN6SDZ, KN6GSG, and N6QDY. We've got all you guys in the log. The K6LNI node key up, but getting quite a bit of, not even packet loss, it's jitter from your node. So you might need a reboot on that node. Anybody else with a 6 in their call sign, please come now. We'll start with Mike, Kilo 6 Alpha Alpha November. Mike, how many radio clubs do you belong to?
Well, good evening, Kevin, everybody on the net. Currently I belong to one for Lodi, California, Stockton Delta Amateur Radio Club, and the Calaveras Amateur Radio Society. So between the 3, they keep me pretty busy. I'm the current secretary of the Lodi Club, and that one really keeps me busy. You guys all have a great evening out there. Thanks for taking the last third there, Kevin. Doing a great job. This is Kilo 6 Alpha Alpha November. Back to you.
Thanks for checking in, Mike. Brent, KF6HDJ, good evening.
Oh, good evening, Kevin, Vicky, and the rest of the net. Currently only belong to one club, the Milton Amateur Radio Club, just north of me in Santa Rosa County, and our ARRL, and then participate quite a bit on the ECR. Thanks for running the net tonight. KF6HDJ, back to net control.
I think, yeah, something's going on there with your Echo Link node. It's hanging open for quite a while after you're done talking, so might need to investigate something there. Feel free to jump in the Zoom room. Lots of people that can help you with that. Thanks for checking in. Next up is Glenn in Chula Vista, California. Glenn, look like you're new to the Reflector. KO6CPN, good evening. How many radio clubs do you belong to?
Good evening, Kevin in the net, and thank you. Yes, I am new to the, got to key the Echo Link back up. I'm coming through you via Echo Link. Set up South Coast Reflector. Currently, the ARRL, amateur emergency services, and then a local club here in San Diego there. Go ahead, thank you.
Thanks for checking in, Glenn. Welcome to the Reflector. Mike, San Jose, California, KN6SDZ. Good evening.
Evening, Mike. In San Jose, KN6SDZ. No clubs at the moment. Anyway, that's about it. 73s, KN6SDZ.
That's 7-3, Mike. Barry, Moss Beach, California, KN6GSG. Good evening.
Good evening, Kevin, and the rest of the net. I belong to two clubs. Let's see. Half Moon Bay Amateur Radio Club, Marin Amateur Radio Club, one DMR group, Pacific Northwest Digital Group, and Alice, that counts. And that's it. Thank you, Kevin, for being there. Thanks for letting me check in. KN6GST, back to net.
Have a good rest of your evening, Barry. David, Sacramento, California, N6QDY.
Hey, good evening, Kevin, Vicky, and the net. Well, you guys are totally dedicated. It's past 10 o'clock on the East Coast. I belong to one, and yep, that's about it. It's just one. Back to net control. Everybody have a good evening. N6QDY near Sacramento.
Thanks for checking in from Sacramento, David. Last on the 6th via the text line is Ruben, KD6CWI. Ruben, how many radio clubs do you belong to?
Thank you for doing the net control. We appreciate it. And good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Primarily, I belong to my local club, which is the Fallbrook Amateur Radio Club. Secondary, I belong to the motorcycle club. I don't remember the designation, but it's Motorcycle Amateur Radio Club, I think MARC. I'm also a member of the Henderson
Amateur Radio Club in Henderson, Nevada. And lastly, I'm a member of the WW7 PSR, which is in Puget Amateur Radio Club in Seattle, Washington. And I think that's pretty much it. Stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy life, and bless everyone. 73 KD6 CWI, back to net control.
7-3 Ruben. This is Kilo Echo 7 Kilo with the East Coast Reflector Tech Net. If you have a 7 in your call sign and you'd like to check in, please come now.
Kilo Juliet 7 Romeo Victor Bravo, KJ7 RVB.
KK7 OGC, 7 OGC.
Kilo 7 November Yankee Charlie. Kilo 7 November Yankee Charlie, Doug. I recognize KJ7 RVB, KK7 OGC, and KK7 NYC. Anybody else with the 7 in their call sign, please come now. And nothing heard. We'll run the 7s here, starting with Ray in Cody, Wyoming. Ray, KJ7 RVB. How many radio clubs do you belong to?
Yeah, thanks for doing that. That would be 2. That would be the Bighorn Basin Amateur Radio Club, the Northern Rockies Amateur Radio Club, both in Northwest Wyoming. Both were absolutely responsible for getting me on the air, and I'm sure that they'll apologize to the rest of you for that. KJ7 RVB, clear.
Thanks for checking in, Ray. Fred, Reno, Nevada, KK7 OGC.
Thank you, Kevin and Vicky and everyone on the net. It would be the Sear, I'm going to choose like 1.5. Sierra Nevada Amateur Society and Washoe Aries occasionally. Back to you, KK7OGC.
Thanks for checking in, Fred. Doug, Fairview, Oregon, just east of me, out Interstate 8, KK6 NYC.
KK7 NYC, I belong to Hoodview Radio Club in Gresham, and I joined there about 3 years ago, so thanks for picking me up, and have a good evening, KK7 NYC.
Have a good evening, Doug. Hope you enjoyed the beautiful day we had here in the Pacific Northwest. And we'll move on to the 8th call district. Via the text line, KA8BYU, W8CRW, KF8DIP. Anybody else with an 8 in their call sign, please come now.
Hey, Lima Alpha X-ray.
There, we picked up Edward, we think, KE8LHX. We'll correct that if that's not correct. Anybody else with an 8 in call sign, please come now. We'll start this list with Roy in Bladesdell, New York, KA8BYU. Good evening, Roy.
Ruby on the Tech Net, KA8BYU. At the present time, none, but over the years I've been a member of 15 different clubs across Ohio, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and New York.
Good to hear you, Roy. Thank you for checking in. CR, W8CRW, good evening.
Good evening, Kevin, and all on the net. This is W8CRW. No clubs, but I'm a member of a user group in Parkersburg, Pennsylvania. 73 to all. W8CRW.
All right, good evening, CR. Thanks for checking in. James, Lake, Michigan, KF8DIP. Good evening.
Zero clubs at the moment. Pretty new to ham radio, so back to the net.
It's 7-3, James. Last one in the 8s this evening is Edward, if we have the call sign right. KE8LHX. Edward, or if you're not Edward, correct your call sign for us. How many clubs, radio clubs, do you belong to?
Kilo Echo 8 Alpha X-ray. Currently I belong to no clubs. Definitely looking into a couple local clubs to see what it actually takes to join. Kilo Echo 8 Lima Alpha X-ray, back to net control.
All right, Dean, thank you for the correction, KE8LAX. I got you in the log there, and we'll be sending you a welcome letter later this evening, early tomorrow morning. Thanks for checking in. If that's it for the 8th, this is KE7K. My name's Kevin, located in Portland, Oregon. I'm the net controller for the last portion of the general check-ins for the East Coast Reflector Tech Net this evening. We are up 9th call district. If you have a 9 in your call sign and you'd like to check in, now.
K4 PJM, checking in.
Perry, K4PJM, if you can stand by just a little bit. We've already run the 4s this evening, but we'll be doing the latent mist here after the 9s and the 0s. Ask you to stand by just for a minute. Final call for anybody with a 9 in their call sign. Please come now. Nothing heard from the 9s. Last call district this week is the 0s. You guys were first last week, so you're paying the piper this week. If you have a 0 in your call sign and you'd like to check in, please come now.
KE0 LDS Kilo Kilo 0 Lima Delta Sierra home QTH to Fargo.
Kilo Charlie 0 Bravo Bravo Foxtrot. Kilo Charlie 0 Bravo Bravo Foxtrot.
RMS, Romeo Mike Sierra.
M0 Mike Sierra Sierra. M0 MSS.
Here we got 5 stations. Michael, you snuck in there on the text line, KF0 SIV. Brad, KE0 LDS. Steve, KC0 BBF. Robert, K0 RMS. And Ross, N0 MSS. Anybody else with a 0 in their call sign, please come now. All right, Michael, you're first up here in Inglewood, Colorado. KF0 SIV. Good evening, Michael. How many radio clubs do you belong to? Michael, KF0 SIV, are you still with us? Next up is Brad in Fargo, North Dakota. Brad, welcome to the Reflector. Looks like you have an email address on QRZ, so we'll be sending you a welcome letter later this evening or early in the morning. KE0 LDS. Good evening, Brad. How many radio clubs do you belong to?
Well, good evening. This is my first time, as you mentioned, here on this net. Active. I'm in Alabama right now. This is my home GPH is Fargo. I'm in Fargo. I belong to the Digital Amateur Radio Club and the Red River Regional Amateurs in Fargo, and a rather informal association. We do call it the club as the Mercury Amateur Radio. It's the Tri-State Mercury Amateur Radio Association, which is currently somewhat dormant, but we're going to be getting it revved up again once I get back to Fargo. I'm in Alabama. I just became a member of the Huntsville Amateur Radio Club. So I think that's 4 or 5. I think it's 5 local clubs and double RL. And that's my report. KE0 LDS.
Yeah, very good, Brad. Sounds like you're quite active. I think 5 might be very top of the list this evening as far as everybody that's checked in. Good to have you on the Reflector. Hope to hear you again. Steve in Lincoln, Nebraska, C0BBF.
Yes, this is K0BBF Lincoln. I only belong to one club right now. It's the LARC Amateur Lincoln Radio Club. It's not too terribly big, but of that, not much going on. Enjoy it. Probably see most of you on the Zoom room tomorrow afternoon. Back to that, K0BBF. Mark was down for one.
There, we got you down for one club, Steve. Thanks for checking in. Robert, K0RMS. Good evening.
Good evening. This is Robert, K0RMS, and yeah, I'm part of the Great River Amateur Radio Club in Dubuque, Iowa, and I'm also a member of the Delaware County Aries Club in Manchester, Iowa, and I participate regularly, but I'm not a member of the Cedar Valley Amateur Radio Club in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So it's a lot of fun. That's about all I got for you. That's K0RMS, back to net.
Hey, thanks for checking in, Robert. And last station before we move on to the late and missed is Ross, N0MSS.
Good evening, Kevin, and everybody on the net tonight. I currently belong to 2 clubs. Three Rivers Amateur Radio Club in Wahpeton, Breckenridge, and Lake Region Amateur Radio Club in Fergus Falls. So put me down for 2, Kevin, and I'll try back to you, N0MSS.
Thanks for checking in, Ross. And missed stations. Gary, we got you already preloaded here, K4PJM. Any other late or missed stations, please come now.
W2CJM, W2CJM. Whiskey 4 India Kilowatt Sierra, Whiskey 4 India Kilowatt Sierra.
Kilo, Quebec 4, Oscar Uniform X-Ray. Kilo, Quebec 4, Oscar Uniform X-Ray.
AC4BR, Alpha Charlie 4, Bravo Romeo.
In addition to Perry, I recognize W2CJM, W4IKS, KQ4OUX, and A4BR. Any other late or missed stations, please come now.
Kilo 2 Echo Fox X-Ray, KE2EFX.
All right, Marcus, I see you via the text line, KF5WFX, and Dustin, KE2EFX. I'll go ahead and make one last call, final call for any stations anywhere. Please come now.
KJ5 KMY, KJ5 Kilo Mike Yankee.
All right, very good, Lance. You, KJ5KMY. We'll shutter the door after we pick you up here. Let's run these 9 stations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perry, K4PJM, good evening. How many radio clubs do you belong to?
Good evening, everybody on the East Coast Reflectors. Sorry, I apologize for getting out so late, but you know, when the bride tells you to go out for the evening, we have to do that, and then we just pick up the microphone weekend later. I don't belong to any right now, but I really want to get into some good ones in our area in Florida, and I want to connect with them. So it's K4 PGM, back to net. Thank you.
I hope you had a nice dinner. I'm glad you made it back in time to sneak in here at the end, Perry. Charles, Selden, New York, W2CJM.
Hey everybody, I belong to one radio club, the Suffolk County Radio Club. Thank you for doing the net. Have a great night.
S73 Barry. KQ4OUX. Good evening, Vincent.
Good evening, everybody on the net. Well, I belong to numerous clubs. Like I said, I don't think I can remember all, but start out with the AWRL is number 1. Number 2 is the T-BARC, which is TBARC. The other one is BARC, BARC. These are all different radio clubs. And then there's a club called Marion Club. I belong to that one. And another club called Hendersonville Club. I belong to that one. And I belong to a lot of affiliated radio clubs, such as the ones that are sponsored by Yazoo, which will be Yazoo FT101, FT701. I belong to the FT3. I belong to the Yazoo one, the G90 Club, and assuming all types of other radio clubs. There's quite a few of them, like that. Just too many to mention out there. And also affiliated with a lot of different departments. So, and I know we're not talking about affiliations right now, but there's quite a few affiliations that some are clubs also. Other than that, like I said, that's about it. Like I said, there's just too many of them to mention, like I said, and I'm basically active in every single one. I try to make every single meeting, and some of them are hard to make because I also belong with the club's fire department, and that usually comes first before, you know, all the other club meetings that come. So, other than that, that's about all I got for you. This is K24OUX, and back to the net.
Hey, thanks for checking in, Vincent. And I think I went out of order there and used the wrong name, but the wrong station. Barry, I think I skipped over you. W4IKS. Are you still there?
That's W4IKS here. You got the name right, Barry. We belong to 2 clubs. One would be, the first one is the Cape Fear Amateur Radio Society. That's K4MN is called. And then we are a member of the Sand Hills Amateur Radio Club. And that is WX4TH is the call for that one. So we belong to 2 there, Kevin. Thanks for being here this evening, and glad I could get in here with you guys tonight. It has been a little bit since I've been on the Reflector, but again, thanks for being here, and until next time, my friend, stay safe, stay well. W4IKS 73.
673 Barry. Sorry for working you out of order there. Thanks for checking in this evening. Brian, Monticello, Kentucky, AC4BR. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody on the net there. I'm a member of two local clubs. One's more just a financial contribution. Our schedules never did line up, but just to support the cause. And they're in the town that I work in, which is about 30 minutes away from my hometown. Just recently joined the club. I didn't even know we had one, so I've been trying to assist them with repeaters and some things and figure all that out and learn some new stuff. So, but that's it so far. I don't really get into any other clubs outside of those, so I'll turn it back to you. This is AC4BR.
Have a good evening, Brian. Marcus, KF5WFX.
Kilowatt Fox 5, Whiskey Fox X-Ray. Answer your question. No, I'm not a member of any clubs at the moment. Have been in the past, but not in the present. Thanks for running the net. Okay, F5 WFX, Amarillo, Texas. Back to you. I'll be clear. Thank you.
Very good, Marcus. I'll remove the block on your no there after the net. You were a little condescending for no reason earlier to somebody that brought up a question, but glad you managed to find a way in. Dustin, KE2EFX. Go ahead.
Good evening to the net. This is KE2FX. I belong to two clubs and the ARRL, and I'm very happy with the two of them, and I'm enjoying my almost year of ham radio, amateur radio operation. So thank you all to the ECR team and running the net this evening, and everybody have a great evening. This is KE2FX. I'm clear.
7-3 Dustin, thanks for participating this evening. And Lance, you're last up tonight. I'm going to shutter the doors after you. KJ5MI, good evening. How many radio clubs do you belong to?
Hello and good evening to everybody on the net from Abilene, Texas. I don't belong to any radio club. I've only been licensed about 7 weeks and wasn't able to make our the first month of local radio club here, but hope to make the next one when it comes up. 73 to all, thanks for running the net. KJ5KMY. Good night.
All right, good night, Lance, and thanks for closing it out this evening. On behalf of the entire East Coast Reflector team, on behalf of Dick and Scott and Vicky, I would like to thank all stations who participated and those who stood by to give us a clear reflector. This is Kilo Echo 7 Kilo, returning the East Coast Reflector to normal use. 73.
KE7K, KF WFX.
Yeah, go ahead, Marcus.
Just curious, I didn't know you had blocked my note there. No wonder I couldn't get in.
What an act of Congress. Did I do something wrong there to cause my node to get blocked there? KF5 WFX, Amarillo, Texas, operator Marcus.
Yeah, sure, Marcus. I blocked your node because you came in, first of all, you doubled twice when you hadn't recognized, and your only comment to the question that had been presented was to be condescending to the person asking it and treating them like they were stupid. And that is not what we're looking for on the Reflector. Back to you.
Okay, I didn't realize I was transmitting. Interesting. Trying to connect to the node. Didn't realize I was doubling. I didn't know I was even transmitting there. Interesting. KF5 WFX.
Well, you were transmitting. I'll be happy to go and send you the snippet of audio if you like to hear it. But you made a comment twice, so you did key up and made the comment.
Yes, sir. If you would please email that to me, I'd greatly appreciate it. There, I was trying to connect. It was telling me I was not connected to anything. I'm not sure what comment was made, but if you could please email that to me. You have my email on your file there. Over.
Yeah, I'll do that right now, Marcus. And you know, even if you didn't think you'd keyed up, you were still saying those thoughts out loud. And I guess your microphone button is. But I will pull that audio pull that audio and get it to you.
I appreciate that, and I apologize if I did anything wrong there. Unfortunately, I was connected to a local node here, and I don't know. I don't think I had a microphone down. If I did, it was telling me that it was not connected. Anyways, sorry about that. Hope I didn't cause you any problems there. KF5 WFX, eagerly awaiting your email.
Well, if it'll help jog your memory, Marcus, it was a question that someone had just gotten a pacemaker, or was going to be getting a pacemaker, and was curious about whether it would cause, whether his radio transmissions would cause problems to his pacemaker. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, okay, my bad. I realized it was, the net was going on at that particular time there. I thought that was just traffic. My bad. Sorry about that.
Okay, very good. So you are familiar with the comment that I'm talking about then? I don't need to send you the audio?
And a pacemaker and microwaves and whatnot. I was pretty sure that was 5 minutes or so before the net had started there. I don't know, I run several nodes here. I'm sorry if I got confused there. My apologies. KF5 WFX. I'm so sorry.
All right, very good, Marcus. I'm not sure what the confusion is, but your node keyed up and your voice made the comment twice. So I think the confusion is on your end. I'll find the audio and send it to you, just so you can be aware of what you did there. KE7K.
KE7K. Very good, my friend. Again, my apologies. KF5. That's clear.
KI5, WFX, KK70GC. Yeah, we all heard it. Anyway, KK70GC, I'll be clear.
You know what's going on, Fred and Reno? This is for you. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I actually pinged David to be able to faster reconnect whenever my node loses power, and I powered it off and then tried to reconnect, and I was talking with the other Kevin in Ontario, and he said, well, David has this thing that you can add to your IAX.conf file. And I don't know. Kind of works, kind of, sort of, I don't know.
I had already turned the radio down for a minute. I didn't hear what you guys were talking about, but yeah, if it kind of works and it kind of doesn't, then I don't know. You know, just like you said, I don't know.
So I put the entire IAX.conf file, of course, and then I had to rename it, so I had to use the move command. And yeah, it's not DOS stuff, but it works. We'll see. Anyway, I'm connected to 27339 right now. I wish there were a node on the West Coast I could connect to. I'm still trying to go down that rabbit hole.
Tell you what, if you ever want to connect to my node, just to give it a try. It's the hub node, you know, Jesus, how can I forget my own damn node? 64921, 64921. If you ever want to, you know, jump on and just have a simple, you can let me know. And if not, you know, it's always on the ECR. I keep it connected. And if you ever want to try it, you just can go ahead and try it. And other than that, yeah, like you said, it's not a today thing. So whenever you're ready, I just want to let you know I'm here for you. And I hope your evening, well, yeah, it's kind of your evening starting. You have a good one and enjoy. All right, my friend, I'll say 73s for now, and have a great night.
All right, thanks, Chris. 69421, I believe.
That's 64921. 64921. You got it. KU4, clear and
with
on the side.
The traffic out there tonight with a pacemaker and radio frequency. If I could ask somebody a question, I missed that on the net. I'd like to know if anybody can pass that information. I'm a pacemaker recipient for 15 years. Anybody with that traffic in 5ZLW.
Keep it 15 to 20 inches away from you, and that's at 20 watts or more. And if you're at 5 to 10 watts, then you'll be fine. And I did research online after all the questions were asked, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, it's you're good to go. If you're running a 5-watt HT, then you're good. If you're running a 10-watt HT, it says to keep it anywhere from 10 to 15 inches away. With that, 10 to 15 inches away from your mouth, that would be my HT right now, away from my mouth. But, it's better to speak louder than have anything happen to you.
All right. Well, the subject, I've been in radio for a long time. I got out of it for a while, but I've been messing with radio since 93 when I first got my novice a long time ago. But let my license expire, and then I got it back. But my cardiologist, I've mentioned to him, because I also manufacture a node called Normad. It's ROP, travel. But it's low power. It's 250 milliwatts, and I always run my HT low power. The only thing they warned me about was, I'm retired now, but I worked as an electrician for the state and the city, working around 1,000 horsepower motors. I couldn't enter a room with big motors running because of the magnetic fields that warned it. But I get my device scanned all the time, and they look for interference and stuff like that. But that's good to know. I really never gave it a thought about my radio, and my cardiologist never said anything about it. So never had the subject. Which I'd been out here earlier. I was out cleaning the garage. So all right, I appreciate that information. And we dodged a bullet. I'm in White House, Texas, and we had a high winds and hail and thunderstorm blow through here, and it's tore up. It's a little bit southwest of me, but it never developed into a tornado. It was like 70, 80 mile an hour winds, tore up a lot of stuff. We dodged a bullet. Anyway, appreciate it. Thanks for providing the information, and also thanks for the East Coast Reflector and everything that the team out there, alive and behind the scenes, what they do to keep this thing up and going. In 5ZLW, appreciate it. Back over to you.
ECR, and no problem with the relay the information about from the net. Like I said, I did a little bit of research after the net was over, because it was an interesting subject, because my dad passed away. He had Parkinson's, and he also had a pacemaker in him. And so I just did a little research, and like I said to you, it's you're talking milliwatts, and so you don't even have to worry. You don't have nothing to worry about. When you're working with HF and you got really good coax, and the coax is hidden far away back behind you, you don't have to worry. So you're good to go. 10 to 12 inches away on an HT, and I'm holding my HT 10 inches away right now. So just to give you if it sounds okay like that, then just to be on the safe side, you're good.
Okay, 4FXC, a quick comment about this. You really need to ask your doctor and have them refer you to the person who implanted the pacemaker. So you got to stay up somewhere. And but 15 to 20 inches. With the HT you're probably fine. With HF on high power, you check it out rather than having an emergency. All pacemakers are not created equal, and I'm not an expert, but I have an uncle who is a retired cardiologist. He was also had a MS or Master's of Science in Electrical Engineering, helped design pacemakers. But he had a lot of stories. But HF, you talk to somebody, you can find somebody that knows about the models here you've got. K4FXC.
definitely. If you're pumping over, 800 watts or whatever.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and ask my
over 500 watts or something.
I've never set. I
definitely be careful with that.
94,
sure.
I've never set up any.
Anyways, 73
I've got a real nice
for you, PK, and you have a great rest of your evening. And,
where I live, I can't put up.
We'll get you down the line sometime.
GX.
My name is Chris, and you have a great night.
767 GX.
And I'll be clear and on the side.
Base station, desktop with the new amplifier, and then I've also got a 736R satellite radio with all the. I've got all the antennas for satellite, but I never got back. Well, I appreciate the information, and I don't know what the traffic is out there. I hope I'm not getting covered up by it. I think stations into the repeater are taking it away. But all right, yeah, I'm going to ask my cardiologist because we never discussed it. In fact, when I was in ICU for a while, I actually, well, I take that back. I was using Echolink. I was thinking I had my HT. I'm 70. I'll be 71 in June. But they let me talk on Echolink when I was in the hospital with my cell phone. I was in a private room, though. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Good information. And sorry about your dad. I've been there. I miss my folks terribly, but it's just part of life. But anyway, 73. My thoughts to everybody. And 5ZLW.
2VNU with a comment.
Okay, 4FX, I don't know if the schedule's still in there, but all right, sounds good. And yeah, definitely ask your doctor, and if your doctor doesn't know, then have him refer to some representative of the company that made your pacemaker, and I promise you they will know. They will be able to get you an answer for what you need. KD2VNU, 4FX, go ahead.
Yeah, David, I think you gave him the best advice. 5 watts if you go near circuit breakers, or the newer type circuit breakers, or if you go by ground fault interrupters, they'll trip from the EMF field. So the rule of thumb is, check with the doctor and avoid anything around the center part of your body where the breaker is, any kind of electromagnetic field.
It's good advice. I just never really gave it a thought, and I'm surprised my doctor. It's never been a topic or a conversation, so it will now after this discussion you guys had tonight. I've actually pulled up a tablet here. I kind of read it too. So, and I've heard somebody else say something about the GFIs and stuff like that. I know my HT on low power. I have a Sony big screen TV in the master bedroom, and when I'm talking, it's on fiber optics, but I guess I'm messing up the circuits inverter in the TV. It puts lines on the TV. So, yep, I've never had any issues that, and I hope that's the device. They read the device. In fact, they can call me on the phone because I have a monitor that watches me. I'm ambulatory. I'm healthy for having a pacemaker. But they actually, I have a thing I hook over my neck when they call me on the phone, and they can read my pacemaker and adjust it or do things. So when I first had it and wasn't used to it and stuff, they monitored me a lot. But all right, well, I'll get that information, and I'll come back with the information when my cardiologist up here in Tyler, Texas. What they tell me. Appreciate the information. Again, everybody have a good one. And 5ZLW.
At least David said the medical people can give you the advice, but you always want to err with caution when you're dealing with a pacemaker. You don't want that to trip on you. And there's another comment in there, so I'll clear it. KD2 being you.